Here is the Financial Times guide to the trial. How will the trial proceed? John Roberts, the Supreme Court Chief Justice who will preside over the trial, on Thursday swore in the senators who will be jurors, paving the way for the trial to start on Tuesday. It will run 6 days a week as expected to continue for several weeks. The 53 Republican and 47 Democratic senators are not allowed to talk during the trial, and must surrender their phones and other electronic devices. After reviewing the evidence, they will vote on whether to convict Mr. Trump, and thus remove him from office. Mr. Trump is the third president to face an impeachment trial after Bill Clinton and Andrew Johnson, who were acquitted. How will the rules for the trial be determined? The Constitution provides little guidance on the rules. Mitch McConnell, the top Senate Republican, says he has crafted a package of rules to guide the trial, but has provided few details. The Democrats will have almost no influence on the rules unless they can persuade 4 Republicans to vote with them, which might be achievable. What happens after the rules are set? The senators will hear the case for the prosecution made by 7 Democratic impeachment managers, led by Adam Schiff, head of the House Intelligence Committee. They will also hear the case for the defense from Pat Cipollone, White House counsel, as well as high-profile lawyers Kenneth Starr, the independent counsel who tried to unseat Mr. Clinton, and Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor. After they have heard the opening arguments from both sides, they can then submit questions in writing. Advertisement in the next stage. The Democrats will almost certainly make a motion to call witnesses. They are particularly interested in hearing from John Bolton, the former National Security Advisor, and Mick Mulvaney, the acting White House Chief of Staff. Will the Republicans allow the Democrats to call witnesses? Mr. McConnell does not want witnesses to avoid further tarnishing his party. But several Republicans who are facing tight re-election races this year will have to make a difficult decision, how to position themselves between the pro-Trump conservative base and independents who want Mr. Trump to face tougher scrutiny. If the Democrats are successful, Mr. Trump may call his own witnesses. Some Republicans want him to call Mr. Biden and his son Hunter, in an effort to prove a debunked conspiracy theory that they were engaged in Ukraine-related corruption. Several Republicans who are facing tight re-election races this year will have to make a difficult decision, how to position themselves between the pro-Trump conservative base and independents who want Mr. Trump to face tougher scrutiny. Financial Times: how closely will the proceedings mirror Mr. Clinton's trial? Mr. McConnell has said his plans mirror how Mr. Clinton's impeachment trial was conducted in 1999. Democrats point out that while procedures for Mr. Clinton's trial enjoyed bipartisan support, Mr. McConnell's plans likely will not. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has appointed 7 impeachment managers, compared with the 13 managers named for Mr. Clinton's trial. The 7 House Democrats represent a more diverse group than those in the Clinton trial, who were all white men. Advertisement: House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has appointed 7 impeachment managers. The 7 House Democrats represent a more diverse group than those in the Clinton trial, who were all white men. Financial Times: what role will the Chief Justice play? Mr. Roberts will preside over the trial. He is a conservative appointed in 2005 by George W. Bush, but has sought to protect the reputation of the Supreme Court from accusations of partisanship. When the senators are locked 50-50 on any motion, Mr. Roberts can cast a decisive vote, but it is unclear whether he would take a position. Will Trump be convicted? Barring some unforeseeable development, there is almost no chance Mr. Trump will be convicted. While many Republicans bristle in private at his actions, particularly over Ukraine, they are worried about the consequences for their own re-election if they vote to convict a president who is exceptionally popular with the party's base. Will the trial have any impact on the 2020 elections? If the Democrats succeed in calling witnesses, they will create another dramatic scene on Capitol Hill to remind voters about Mr. Trump's behavior over Ukraine. That would give them ammunition to help lure independents in November. Mr. Trump will probably use any acquittal to argue that the Ukraine investigation was a hoax created by Democrats to stop him from getting a second term. That would have a big impact on the four remaining senators in the race, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar and Michael Bennet, who will have little ability to campaign since they will have to remain in Washington 6 days a week for the trial. That may benefit Mr. Biden and Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, who with Mr. Sanders and Ms. Warren make up the top four contenders. Financial Times. Let's block ads. Why?